Welcome to Sacred Stories Podcast, a place to explore and discuss new and exciting books of consciousness. I am your host, Reverend Patricia Caginello, and speaking with authors that have shared their wisdom, stories, and a higher consciousness through their books is one of my favorite things to do. Today we are speaking with Sylvia Moss, an accomplished photographer, healer, and angelologist. Her photographs have appeared in periodicals and newspapers throughout the United States, including the New York Times and Dance Pages magazine. Two of her angel photographs have also appeared in Angels on Earth magazine. Sylvia is the author of her beautiful book, Angels of New York, A Meditative Photographic Journey. And that is what we'll be speaking with Sylvia about today. So welcome, Sylvia Moss, to Sacred Stories.
Thank you so much, Patricia. I'm glad to be here.
I'm happy you're here as well because I absolutely love your book. It's a beautiful, I think of it like almost like a coffee table book, but more so because I feel that it's something that people will engage with frequently, less so than a coffee table book.
Yeah, thank you. That was my hope. That was my vision.
So share with the audience what your book is about.
Oh, we don't have enough time to do that. No. So my book is about, it's not a storybook. I mean, it doesn't have chapters, so I can't, it doesn't have a storyline. But what it is each angel has her own page, actually has 2 pages. And with each image, there's a literary quote, like a poem or, a short verse. And then the next page is a story of either about the angel itself, like if it's Gabriel, what does Gabriel mean and what has Gabriel done through our lifetimes? Or it's a story about the artist who created this particular image. And some of the stories are really incredible. You wouldn't have thought that a person would go through that to have produced a piece of art. But that's basically what the book is about. And so, also about it's about when the person reads the book, it's for the person, yes, read it as an art history book, but also read it as talking to angels. So we can get into that later if you'd like.
So the book is a beautiful collection of photographs that you took yourself of angels throughout New York City. Yes. So that's why I say it's similar to a coffee table book. It's a beautiful art book. It's a book of beautiful photographs and a larger sized book. But because of how you've written the angel stories or written the stories about the artwork or shared about the artist, it really becomes something that, as we mentioned, people will, pick up and refer to and enjoy time and time again.
Yeah, it's a kind of a book because I do it all the time. I'll just pick it up and turn to a page and just meditate with that angel or read the story again. I mean, I know them in my sleep, but I don't know about you and the audience, but I have always found that the visual gets to me, I guess maybe faster or deeper than reading about something. I mean, they both go hand in hand, but the visual has some kind of a pull. And that's what this book I have found does. It has this pull into this place that we as humans in our physical 3D world, we don't have that very much.
So tell us one of your favorite angels or one of your favorite stories from the book.
Yeah. I guess my favorite story is the one that I wanted to write a whole book on. So I guess that would qualify for being my favorite. It's a story about the artist who sculpted the. If people don't live in New York, they won't understand where it is. But it's on Fifth Avenue, like in the middle of New York City, the busiest spot in the city, on Fifth Avenue and 59th Street. And it's the Sherman Memorial, but the memorial part has nothing to do with the angel in the book. She's called Victory, and she's walking in front of this man on this back with her arm up. She's bringing him into the victory parade. But it's more, the story is about what happened to the artist, Augustus St. Gaudens, who was a very, 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 very famous artist around the world. And it took him 11 years to do this huge monument. But he was ill, he was in love, he was out of love. The drama is masterpiece theater quality. I mean, that when I heard all the things that I was writing the story about this, I thought, this has got to be a television series because it's that rich. And the statue had 3 different models. One for the head, one for the body that didn't have any clothes on, and then one for the body that had the drapings of the garments on her. So it's really an in-depth piece of work, and some of it was done in New York, some of it was done in Paris. He had studios all over the world, and so the story of how this all evolved and his relationships with the women that were models is quite stunning, quite stunning.
I think that's why I have such a resonance with your book, in addition to the stunning photographs, is that it's just so fun to kind of get the glimpse behind the curtain of what this artwork or these monuments are about, because we could walk by them, whether it's in New York City or really anywhere in the world. And there's always a story. There's always a story. We just may not know it.
I know. It's just fascinating. And one of the things that I've encouraged people to do is when they find an angel in the book that they really like is to go to that place. If you're in New York, go to that place and sit with that angel, because it's a whole totally different experience. There's a wonderful angel at Columbus Circle, which is another hub in New York City that traffic swirls around. And people say, I never knew there was an angel there. In fact, I never knew there was an angel there until I started this project.
Right. It's fascinating. So Sylvia, tell us a little bit about your sacred story, though, that led you to want to do this book.
Actually, it came through a friend. I was photographing angels, and I had a few angels in an exhibit one Christmas, and I was photographing something for him, and on the way home, I was photographing a church, and on the way home, he said, how's the exhibit going, and blah blah blah, and he said, why don't you do a book on angels and call it Angels of New York? And I literally screamed. It was in a taxi, because I've been waiting for a sign. And that's how things usually come to me. They come from, I hear somebody say something and it inspires me, or somebody tells me directly, I'm getting the feeling that you should do blah, blah, blah. It's quite remarkable. And so that was the beginning.
So since you've created this book, or in the creation of the book, what's been some of your biggest inspiration?
Well, it got me to talk to angels more. I really just would sense them and know they were there, and like my invisible friends when I was a child, that kind of thing. And I never gave it much thought because it was just sort of the water that I swam in. But then when the book was done, then I really got messages. I was really getting messages from angels that I needed to do angel meditation groups. I needed to do angel readings. Actually, that came from a friend of mine. She kept hounding me. Why aren't you doing angel readings? I said, because that's not what I do. And then she rolled her eyes, a couple of times. And so that started that. But then just in this last year, in the last 6 months, I guess, I'm creating an angel deck of cards, wisdom cards. People can draw an angel. And so they'll have an extension of the book. And so that's very exciting. And I channeled all the messages. So the book has really taken me on this journey of my work. It's taken me deeper into my work. Definitely.
Isn't that just a beautiful process, how that happens? What we choose to spend our time with or put our attention to, right? What happens?
Yeah, because I would have never thought that I would get so, I don't want to say possessed, but so involved in the computer and the graphics. That was never my thing. And so in doing the book and in doing the cards and sending messages, that I'm going to be doing angel messages, I'm in the computer all the time. And I love it because when I'm doing it, the angels literally guide me. I mean, I now know that this is not, I'm not just doing this, because I can start feeling things. I even start smelling certain fragrances that are not in my room, and that something wafts by me, and then it goes away. It's quite remarkable. So I encourage people to tune into their angel.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, in addition to other professional skills you're developing, you're spending your time in the company of the angels, and
yes.
And so will the readers, when they
yes.
when they choose the book and they're reading through it. I have a copy, and it's absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love it. I'm actually considering, I am going to give a copy to my mother for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Because she loves the angels, and the book comes in hardcover and paperback, so there are options. So what are some of the greatest gifts you've received in the form of reader responses or experiences from people who have seen your book or read your book?
One person she was an acquaintance of mine. She did not know that I had done the book because I had been talking to her for quite a while. Well, no, actually, I didn't know her yet then. I didn't know her yet. She gives me a call and says, I have your book, and I want you to be on my TV pilot show. And I almost fell on the floor because she found my book in some way, and she fell madly in love with it. And I was at her house just about 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about the book, and she said, she wanted me to get the book. She said, I always have it out. It's a very important book to me. I mean, and then some of my other friends, one of my sound healer and crystal bowl friends, he gave me a testimonial saying, this is museum quality work, a classic. I mean, that's the kind of responses that people give. And I've been very touched by it because I didn't expect that kind of a wide what's the word I want? A wide experience that it's of that quality. I mean, I love it, and that was my goal, to make it really, really fine art, because it's my work. I couldn't do it any other way. So the book took 17 years to produce.
Well, and I think that people feel such a resonance and have such an experience because it's, as you said before, the angels are guiding you, have been guiding you, and I feel their presence, with the book, what we're putting an attention to. So in addition to your stunning photographs and your fascinating stories on the artwork or the pieces of art, you also have a company of angels with you, in their energy, which is beautiful.
Yes. And one thing that's coming through is that they wanted me to remind the audience, if they don't know, to remember this little phrase that they told me just a few days, about a week ago. The angels have your back. They're always there for you, and you have to ask for their help. Most people think that, if angels are around, they're just going to do whatever they do because they've heard lots of stories. Yes, they will. If it's in a crisis, an emergency, they'll grab a person in front of a bus, that's passing in front of a bus. But if you have a problem or you want support or you want help, you have to ask them because they can't interfere in your process. So I just think that's such a beautiful thing that they want to help, but
the book is called The Angels of New York, A Meditative Photographic Journey, and the author is Sylvia Moss. Sylvia, please share with the audience your website and where they can find out more information to get your book, because it's a beautiful gift year round, but it's absolutely a beautiful holiday gift as well.
Definitely. Thank you. The book has its own website, and that's called angelsofnewyork.com. angelsofnewyorkbook.com, angelsofnewyorkbook.com. Then my website is www.sylviamosshealer.com, and that'll give you all the information about me and all the other things that I do. The book is actually on that website too. And they can go to amazon.com and type in Angels of New York. I wouldn't type in my name. You can, but there are like 4 or 5 Sylvia Mosses. So I've been guiding people just to type in the title of the book because it pops right up.
Okay.
And if you have any problems finding it or anything like that sort, email me at sylvia.sylviamoss.com.
Okay. Okay. Sylvia Moss, thank you so much for being with us today.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you.
Sylvia Moss's book is called Angels of New York, a Meditative Photographic Journey. We encourage you again. It's a wonderful holiday gift, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful book to have around year-round. I want to thank our audience for joining us. My name is Reverend Patricia Caginello. I've been your host, and this is Sacred Stories Podcast.